So we kind of ended off on a cliffhanger. The cliffhanger was that you got the Bolsheviks, and the Bolsheviks are going to come up against the Constituent Assembly, the Social Revolutionaries. 420 Social Revolutionaries won, 225 Bolsheviks won. So that means the Social Revolutionaries are the clear, vast majority of the Constituent Assembly. You also got the Ukraine who's sitting there saying that they're their own nation, but the Bolsheviks just set up a puppet government in Kharkiv. And they're saying that they don't give a shit about what the Ukrainian nationalists are saying. You think this is your own country? Fuck you. So at the end of 1917, we see the Bolsheviks take power. And we're going to see them, basically amongst their own. They're going to run into the social revolutionaries. And then they're also going to run into the Ukrainian nationalists because they want to steal the Ukraine. But the Ukraine says, no, we're our own country. We are our own country. So we ended 1917 off with a cliffhanger. What is going to happen? So, these are my conclusions with my past remarks with the timeline of the Bolsheviks in the Ukraine. So for 1917, what are we seeing? We see the fall of the Tsar. We see the rise of the provisional government with Kerensky, right? So the Tsar, the royalists, they're no more. They are no more. And you have Finland, who's going to declare independence. The local Rada is going to declare Ukraine independent. The Don Cossacks are going to declare independence. Estonia is going to get a granted autonomy. So Finland, Estonia, the Ukraine, Don Cossacks, which is part, of the Ukraine. This is a different faction, a different nation. So that happens immediately. After you see the fall of the Tsar and the rise of the provisional government with Kerensky, Finland, Estonia, Ukraine, Don Cossacks, we're free now. We're free. The fall of the Tsar had Trotsky and Lenin licking their chops. Probably, they thought of Lenin probably thought of the Second Revolution on his way from Switzerland to St. Petersburg on board that sealed train, which was given to him by Germany, which is weird because the Tsar in Russia was at war with Germany. So Germany thought of a brilliant idea, right? Kaiser William himself put Lenin on a train with security and, the auspices, the pass. Kaiser William says, make sure you get Lenin to Petersburg. We need to send some revolutionaries into Russia today. Right now, this is actually fucking brilliant. Give him Johnny Depp. Have Johnny Depp run a Hunter S. Thompson for sheriff kind of campaign. That's what we need. Johnny Depp in Russia running a Hunter S. Thompson for sheriff kind of campaign. Zinoviev, Radek, and Lunacharsky. Who the fuck are these guys? Lenin's aboard this sealed train, and then eventually he becomes the fucking, czar or prime minister, whatever. But who's Zinoviev and Radek and Lunacharsky? Do we ever hear about these guys again? They came with Lenin, but apparently Lenin's just a badass because they never show back up in the historical record, at least I haven't seen. If Russia is Ukraine and Ukraine is Russia, then how come neither Lenin nor Stalin nor Khrushchev nor Gorbachev look anything like Ina Shevchenko or Femin or Pussy Riot or Mila Kunis? Khrushchev, Lenin, you're not goddamn, you think you're fucking Ukrainian? Mila Kunis is Ukrainian. Lenin, you don't look like Mila Kunis, nor do you Khrushchev or Stalin or Gorbachev. Pussy Riot looks more like Russia than Vlad the Mad does. It's getting dark, New York City. It's getting dark, New York City. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. July 16th to the 18th, 1917. It was a failed July coup d'etat. Whoopsie daisy. So Lenin and Trotsky tried to take over the government, but the coup d'etat was a failure, so, we'll just give them another chance. Give them another chance. So when they try to take over the government and failed, that's a rebellion. A successful takeover is a revolution. A coup d'etat, a successful coup d'etat that brings good changes for the people is a revolution. That's why this is a Russian revolution. But I just feel like the Russians should have saw something coming. Wait a second, Lenin and Trotsky try to take over the whole government. So Trotsky's in jail. Lenin goes back to Finland. Americans are arriving in Murmansk and Vladivostok. I'm not for sure when U.S. declared war in World War One. I want to say it was 1917, wasn't it? We threw Eugene Debs in jail for it. The Red Scare is going to hit right after World War One also. The Red Scare, there's another period of the Red Scare. 1950s, right after World War One and World War Two. What's up with that? Once they overturn the all of society, that's like, what? Them damn Americans are going to want to take care of each other. Well, we capitalist, imperialist, homophobics are going to stop it. Right, Putin? Fucking Putin. Lenin attempts a coup d'etat. Yeah, so he understood the winds of democratic legitimacy, but he doesn't understand democracy. Or he understands the winds of history and time, but not the winds of democratic history and time. He was able to take it over, and nobody took the power out of his hands. So, but there was a 5-year civil war that, afterwards. If he had been elected, if they would have had a referendum and the people of Russia would have elected the Bolsheviks, fucking A. Fucking A. You wouldn't have had all the war and the civil war, and then they had to basically hold on to power with an iron grip for fucking decades. So August 3rd, 1917, Americans are in Vladivostok, and September 4th in Murmansk. The Social Revolutionaries won the Constituent Assembly election. November 25th, 1917, the elections of the Constituent Assembly returned with 420 Social Revolutionaries approved, 225 Bolsheviks approved. So the Social Revolutionaries won. A good, great policy of the Bolsheviks in 1917. The workers were given control of the factories. Ukraine's going to declare independence again and again and again. November 20th, 1917, after the early November Bolshevik coup in Petrograd and a similar event in Kiev, the Central Rada issued the Third Universal on November 20th, 1917, declaring a Ukrainian People's Republic in Kiev, condemning the Bolsheviks' initiated disorder in Petrograd as politically illegal. And the legal government in Petrograd was dissolved, so the Central Rada didn't need authority from outside. They said, we're independent. Fuck you, motherfuckers. You're also going to see 3 more independence movements. I mean, the Don Cossacks, they're actually going to do a rebellion in Lithuania, Moldavia, on top of Estonia, Finland, and the Ukraine. So Don Cossacks, Lithuania, Moldavia, Estonia, Finland, the Ukraine. You got a lot of nations that are declaring independence at the time just because Americans aren't paying attention to all these different, mountain regions and shit doesn't mean jack shit. Tim Dillon isn't going to fight for Estonia. Estonia's been around for a long fucking time. If America gets attacked, will Tim Dillon, give a shit if Estonia just watches as Tim Dillon gets attacked? December 9th, 1917, revolt of the Don Cossacks led by Kornilov and Kaledin. December 11th, 1917, Lithuania independence. December 15th, 1917, Moldavian independence. So you have all these independence movements. The Tsar goes down. They get Russia. They don't get the other countries. Russia's been trying to take all these other countries, but these other countries are saying, no, Lithuania, we're our own people. Moldavia, we're our own people. The Don Cossacks, we're our own people. We are our own people. And then there's the idea that Lenin and Trotsky just want to take over by force, and everybody's just supposed to get in fucking line. Just get in line. And that's going to, really help us out? The ending of 1917 for the Bolsheviks in the Ukraine ends in a cliffhanger. It ends in a cliffhanger because you got the social revolutionaries. What are the Bolsheviks going to do with the social revolutionaries at the Constituent Assembly? And what are they going to do with the Ukrainians? The Ukrainians keep calling themselves independent, along with the Don Cossacks and the Lithuanians and the Moldavians and the Estonians and the Finland. Finland people too, the Finnish. What are they going to do if they're going to go after the Ukraine? Are they going to go after all those other countries too? The Bolsheviks, they're going to establish a competition government for the Ukraine in Kharkiv. Christian Rakovsky installs Tsar of Bolshevik Ukraine. So December 25th, 1917. So Kharkiv versus Kiev, right? You got the Bolshevik Kharkiv versus the socialist Ukrainian natural national Ukrainian, the Ukrainians. The Bolsheviks are not the Ukrainians, but they're setting up an entire fucking thing. Just, it's incredible. It's all just a forced takeover. None of this has any democratic legitimacy whatsoever, goddamned ever. When I look throughout history, Abraham Lincoln, smashed the South and smashed slavery, and he did it in one fell swoop. I like that. I mean, it might have taken 100 to 200 years to do it some other fucking way. When Lenin takes over Russia and just says, okay, the workers control things from now on. I like that. It took such a long fucking time, and then some outsider just says, you know what, I'm gonna fucking take it all, and what are you all gonna do about the damn shit? And he was able to do it, and he was successful at it. And he did help the people, with their communist programs, or at least they starved and killed a lot of people. So, yeah, they took a good idea and really made it bad quickly, but the French Revolution went bad quickly too, so... The ideas are the important parts. The idea is that we should, peace, land, and bread. We should take care of one another, the community, make sure our people have enough food to eat and whatnot. Christianity, I thought Jesus cared about the poor and making sure the poor had plenty to eat. So I would think that all Christians would be communists if they're sincere Christians. The Christians who are sincere are socialist. The Christians who are not sincere, well... they're pieces of shit. They're wicked, but they pretend to be good. So 1917. It's 1917 in the Ukraine versus the Bolsheviks. The Ukrainians do want to be their own people. They have a socialist government, and it was made up of, peasants and workers, and there's just different groups. There is a socialist group from Russia, a socialist group from Ukraine. There was some Jewish workers group, a whole bunch of groups. But it was a socialist government. So the Bolsheviks don't give a fuck. They're establishing a competition government in Ukraine and Kharkiv to take over the socialist government in Kiev. This is the end of 1917. The independence movement is going to go on for another 3 years. So, and there's like 4 governments in Ukraine at the time. So it's fucking Bolsheviks, man. Fucking Bolsheviks.